You've awoken, but it doesn't feel like it. You feel the sensation of your blanket over yourself, and you can register the sound of your fan. You open your eyes, and you see the soft shadows by the light on the nightstand, a deep orange to white, bordering on yellow. It stops at the wall, coming out far enough to block the door from your view. You're in bed, you know that much. What you don't know is why you feel so stiff, as if your limbs and head are incapable of moving. You look as far as your eyes can stretch. There doesn't seem to be anything restraining. During this, you catch 2:05 on the digital clock. Soon enough, you think it clicks. You feel as if you can't move because you can't. For a moment, you can feel your stomach twist and your heart stutter. If that door were to open, an intruder could take or do whatever they wanted. Luckily, you confidently remember that paranoia led you down a path of double and triple checking. The doors and windows are locked and deadbolted. Your heart then regulates in your ribs, and despite never moving, you feel yourself relax. Wait, wasn't sleep paralysis supposed to come with nightmarish hallucinations? Figures you can't explain in the corners, sounds with no reasonable sources. As you think that, your eyes scan the room once more. Maybe because a light was on, everything is clear enough and identifiable, save for the doorway, but it was locked. Clearly your body's not ready to wake up, so why bother it? You close your eyes, the amber light's covered by black, and you take in a quick but deep breath. The doors and windows are locked and deadbolted. The only sounds are the fan and the night bugs. Your heart spikes. An auditory hallucination, of course. Even if it wasn't, surely a robber would just take any valuables on the ground and upper floor and leave. Not that a robber was possible anyway. The shaking was for a mere second, and you huff and exhale and close your eyes once more. It didn't twist. Your stomach plummets. The feeling's yet to return to you, and you frantically swirl your eyes to and from every angle, vaguely catching 2:07 on the digital clock. Very gently, the door taps the doorstop. You barely see the hallway's void. Locked, deadbolted, and triple checked. How could this possibly be? Your pulse is in your head, the rest of you still unresponsive as the dead. Fingers wrap around the sectional wall, blocking the full view, and then a head pokes around. They have a mesh face mask on, platform shoes softly patting the floor like they were memory foam, their eyes as wide as yours, as if they're shocked to see you, at least see that you are awake. They sort of pause, holding an awkward staring contest, as if this was some embarrassing find and not a break-in. Then they change. Their shoulders fall and their head tilts, as if curious. They've surely noticed you've done nothing about this situation. Are you having a moment? I'd expect more, yelling and throwing of things. 4 tools shined off their belt, all hooked to loops and sheathed. Attached to one breast pocket was some kind of badge. Your breathing is ragged and panicked beyond comprehension as they approach. Hesitantly, as if they are unsure whether you're going to strike back. Maybe it'd be better if they continued to believe that. Maybe they'd leave, knowing they're caught. Sadly, you think they maybe half believe that. You can see it in their eyes, standing over you like a predator. They reek of rubbing alcohol. Their fierce and sterile like a hospital, like they've bathed in it.
Ah, I see. Well, this makes it easier, albeit I've never had a supplier in this state before.
As they step closer, you can make out their clothes. Indigo sheer tights and undershirt, bubble shorts, and a French-sleeved peplum jacket, both in bottle green.
Let's get to it, I guess. This one wants a full cage, so...
They sling off their bag and set it on the floor. From their other pocket came a syringe, separated and capped needle, and a vial. They attach the adapter and remove the needle's cap, penetrating the thin cover of the vial. As clear fluid sucked into the barrel, they eye you like they're worried. Not like you, of course, laying paralyzed in your bed at 2 a.m. with an intruder who slipped past your expert security measures.
Don't move, please. It took a lot of work to get in here.
No doubt. However, as they say that, it's shown that they noticed something that you didn't in your fear. Your fingers twitched. You're free. You're free. Hit them. Run. Your thoughts push into overdrive as every muscle finally tenses, and it's like the blood resumes circulation. Your intruder's breath hitches, and finally you can end this nightmare one way or another. However, you didn't expect them to cut their thought-out, methodical process by sudden brute force. Your head is bashed in by their free fist, and it looked like a reflex. Down, 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 now. This isn't how it goes, okay? Like taming an unruly dog, they put seemingly 100% of their weight on your chest with their hand. The pain was dull but throbbing in your head, and like a cartoon, you're seeing stars. There's a ringing, and through the days, you feel a sting in your arm's muscle. Oh, God, no. Once more, you are paralyzed. You stretch your eyes towards the intruder, who is rubbing the injection point and shushing you like a baby. You're able to speak, not that it's too helpful. They shush your attempts anyway and pat your lips a few times.
Shh, 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 shh. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Okay, you don't feel this, right? Can you feel this?
You can't. However, maybe if they think you can, they'll give up. If they're so worried about it, maybe they don't want to cause harm. That idea's quickly shot. They were tapping your knee to check for a reflex, obviously finding none. The point being, you didn't notice. I guess it's interesting. I've never operated with a conscious supplier before. Actually, you can go back to sleep if you want. You have no idea what they're talking about. They pull the covers away and grab under your back, promptly flipping you over onto your stomach, and kindly, they adjust your neck so you can breathe.
Comfy, is this okay? Sorry, it's, never like this.
Indeed, it was so incredibly cozy. 2:10 a.m. A soft rubbing sound came from behind, fidgeting, and the snap of latex. You can just barely turn your eyes to see them, but you don't know if you want to. There's a clink of metal, and you hear them set something down on the dresser. Something sharp trailed along the back of your shirt, tearing through the fabric. All right, I guess I'll narrate. I'm going to take this pen and mark out the start and end of your back from C6 to L1. split you open. They pat your upper and lower back, only coming as a faint and dull sensation. They brace your shoulder and lower something sharp. Right through the resinous dermis, popping fat cells and tearing muscle like taffy. Deep inside your nape, the approach sounded louder the deeper it went, and then a sharp click. Not painful, but horrifying. Okay, that's the end of your cervical spine. Now I'm just going to make another mark on the highest lumbar. The blade retreats back to the surface and they readjust. Once again, soft and gelatinous noise come from your back. Spongy, sloppy ripping, tearing of thick fibers, and then click. Nice. That's pretty even. And now I'm going to connect these. The blade glides through the layers, tapping the surface of the spine every so often. About 4 smooth cuts run down, artistically and carefully, like cutting fragile gelatin. Following was a rush of cold, like a cracked window in winter. You sense the bed shift as they realign themselves, and the cold air seeps in from the eye-shaped wound, chilling you to the literal bone. They set the scalpel down with a clink on the dresser. Done. Now I'm separating the folds. I'm going to gently move this away. Dermis, epidermis, subcutaneous tissue, fascia, vessel, fibers. It's all a very nice makeup fun fact. Very symmetrical, intricate. I'm not a fan of circulatory nonsense, though. Soon there's a tender touch on the spine, their whole hand able to fit, and they sigh, sounding pleased. There. Now, pin that open. Nice. Perfect. They unclip another tool, uncover it, and you can hear the snip of scissors. Let's get the soft stuff out of the way. Every snip resonates in your ears like the slow chewing of gum. Gentle bursts and moist rips as tissue and fibers are cut out. Your back starts to feel empty and airy, possibly from the nerves being disconnected from the flesh. Good. All right. Now, let's get those ribs off. Unmistakably, the crack and grind of saw teeth shot right to your ear. These are the costovertebral joints. I'm sawing right at the base, okay? I'll try and keep your spine intact. The teeth of the small saw crunched through the base of the ribs, popping off all the way through. 22 times. Barely a moment each, but with the crack and grind of saw to bone. The sickening crunch sounded in your ears for what could have been hours. I won't bother with these, though. Floaty 1 and Floaty 2. They got off the bed for a second, unzipped their bag, and then back up again. Let's close that. You may need to change these sheets anyway, though. Apologies. They took out the pins they used to hold the flesh pieces apart, and then put them back in differently, roughly closing your back. Then, just as the first time, They harshly flip you over. You face them, and they pull their hands away, now crimson with viscous fluids.
Now listen. This?
They gently maneuver your arms and soon slide the sleeves off with the rest of your top.
Isn't anything of that sort, okay? It's just business. Up here, I'm going to line your clavicle and mark the center of your breastbone and a little circle on your umbilical region. Just breathe as if you were asleep. However you do that, I don't want you dead after all.
3 vertical lines are drawn from the marks, and this time it's even more like warm gelatin.
We're done cutting now. Just relax. Pretend this is a massage or something. A deep tissue massage, if you will.
Cool latex hands came together, sliding between the folds before spreading them apart. Your heartbeat was heavy, your lungs inflated and shriveled with struggling wheezes. Their hands rotate and lightly pinch the sides to pull them farther apart. The muscles and fat squish under their fingers, and they probably saw your stomach twitch with a threat to hurl.
You're very beautiful.
With bloodied fingers, they quickly pull 2 pins from their hair, implanting them on the right, and then another 2 on the left.
I've never been able to tell a supplier that. Everyone's 100 times prettier on the inside, you know? Bones, most of all, of course. Now, let's cut this tissue off so they can be appreciated.
In your own ears, they sounded like rubber bands stretching and tearing. Veins, muscles, tendons, and once those were gone,
there it is.
Their voice was void of soul and sounded like a husk. All inside was desire and a sinful want.
Can you feel this? This is your sternum. Your ribs. Very smooth, by the way. Do you drink lots of milk? Eat lots of greens? They're like polished pearls. Whoever gets these is very lucky. I'm going to trim right along here and detach the costal cartilage. It's sort of rubbery and flexible. I won't even use pliers after this. I'll be careful not to scratch anything.
They carefully work 2 fingers under the first rib, and you feel the pressure on your lung. Slowly, agonizingly slowly, they slip the scissor blade underneath and snip the first band of cartilage.
I only need to do this 12 times. Your first 6 ribs are attached to your sternum by cartilage, but these bottom 4, they connect to the surrounding cartilage before the sternum. They're false ribs. Still lovely, of course, despite that name. You should really appreciate the beauty of your body. In the ribs alone, you have lovely symmetry. Every cell in your body is born from these bones. Every cell that keeps you alive. I've seen lots of insides, and I truly believed that it should be cherished in return. Out of courtesy, of course.
They held a set of disembodied ribs, 10 separate and single, and the other 10 in 2 separate collections. A few remaining threads of flesh snapped as they stretched, and you finally eject your stomach.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. Shh. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Just spit it out. Spit it out. It's okay. You're okay.
Flipping a switch, the criminal tilts your still paralyzed head to the side with a bloodied hand. They hold you in there until you're confident that you won't choke. After all, do no harm.
Okay. Sorry. Like I said, people aren't awake for this.
They reach down where their bag is laid, a zipper undoing, and the muffled tapping of bones being placed inside came from the bedside. Then they hoist it up, the pouch now bumpy as they set it on the bed, and they casually pick up their tools.
I'll put in a good word for you. I already know your name, so don't worry about that. They're going to love you. Let me close that for you.
They removed the pins from the front wound, pressing the sides together before reapplying them. They made sure it was as even as it could be. And once they nodded, reached in their bag's side pocket.
It'll stain if I leave it too long. Just some alcohol. Okay, there we go. Okay. That there. And there we go. All clean, for the most part.
They had the hospitality to nicely cover you back up with the blanket. As silently as they came, they hastily tiptoed back to the door, not leaving before giving a friendly wave and an obvious smile in their eyes.
Have a nice night.
3:10 a.m. Have a nice night.
Thank you to everyone who watched this catastrophe. This has been a long time coming and a long time to make. Why? Because I'm depressed and lazy. I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Mia, who actually inspired this idea. This is actually based off of a fanfic that I wrote, where the Bone Stealer universe originated from. So if you want to know some more details involving this concept, you can go read that if you want to. But don't worry, I plan on hopefully making more content about all of my stories, the Bone Stealer universe included. If you are less relaxed than how you came into this video, then good, I did my job right. I don't really know what else there is to say, except thank you for listening.